Welcome to Liverpool fans. Today we've got the latest updates of your beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started. Liverpool. After a 1-1 draw with Sunderland as FSG sack Arne and immediately bring back Jurgen Klopp. The night that changed Liverpool's destiny began with tension already hanging in the air. Anfield was full, but the atmosphere was far from the usual electric confidence. Supporters had grown frustrated by a series of disappointing performances, and the home match against Sunderland, a team Liverpool were expected to beat comfortably, was seen as a crucial moment for Arne. A win could calm the fires, but anything less would only intensify the pressure burning around him. From kickoff, Liverpool pushed forward aggressively, trying to control the game and ease the nerves of their anxious fans. The players moved the ball quickly, showing flashes of energy, but something fundamental was missing. The fluency, the intensity, the hunger that defined Liverpool for years under Jurgen Klopp simply wasn't there. Sunderland, meanwhile, defended with determination, organised in every moment, using their discipline to frustrate the hosts. As the first half ended goalless, murmurs spread across the stadium. The Kop, normally loud and unshakable, looked unsure. The fans had supported Slot with patience, but patience was becoming harder to justify. A team that once played with relentless belief was now stumbling. Liverpool finally broke the deadlock in the second half, and Anfield erupted, more in relief than celebration. But the joy was short-lived. Sunderland equalised late in the match after a defensive error that summed up Liverpool's season. Confusion, miscommunication, and a lack of sharpness. The final whistle blew, and the scoreboard froze at 1-1. To many fans, it felt like a defeat. Boos echoed through parts of the stadium. Others remained silent, shaking their heads. For a club with ambitions of competing at the highest level, a draw against Sunderland at home was unacceptable. And for FSG, Liverpool's owners, the match confirmed something they had been resisting for weeks. The project under Arne had broken down beyond repair. Inside the club's executive lounge, the mood was grim. Senior decision-makers met almost immediately after the match ended. Analysts presented alarming data, declining pressing intensity, falling expected goals, increasing defensive errors, and weakened team unity. Several senior players had expressed quiet concerns about the direction of tactics and motivation. The Sunderland draw wasn't an isolated event. It was the final straw in a worrying trend. The discussion was short, decisive, and emotionally heavy. FSG concluded that Arne had to be dismissed, not in the morning, not after reflection, but immediately. Liverpool could not afford more damage, and the club's identity was slipping away. But the next decision they made was even more dramatic. Instead of searching for a long list of replacements, instead of interviewing candidates, instead of hesitating, FSG agreed on one name instantly. The only name that made sense in a moment of crisis: Jurgen Klopp. The man who brought Liverpool back to glory, the man who rekindled belief in the city, the man who understood the heartbeat of Anfield more than anyone else. Though Klopp had left earlier citing exhaustion and the need for a break, he had never severed his emotional bond with the club. He watched Liverpool matches from home, sent messages to old staff members, and admitted in interviews that part of his heart would always remain in Merseyside. FSG contacted him immediately. The call reached Klopp at his home in Germany, where he had been spending time with his family. He was surprised, silent for a moment, and asked questions carefully. He knew the weight of such a return. But when FSG explained how badly the club needed him, how the identity, spirit, and direction were fading, Klopp fell into deep thought. Then he said the words that sent shockwaves through Liverpool's leadership. "If Liverpool needs me again, I will come back." Within hours, everything was set in motion. A private jet was dispatched. Contract papers were prepared. Communication staff drafted announcements. FSG knew that the moment Klopp stepped back into England, the entire football world would erupt. Though they tried to keep the news confidential, whispers spread across social media. Fans began speculating, debating, and hoping. By morning, the streets around Anfield were filled with supporters wearing Klopp-era scarves and holding banners reading, "Bring him home." When the club officially announced that Arne Slot had been sacked, the city already knew something bigger was coming. Then, minutes later, a second statement arrived. Liverpool Football Club is pleased to announce the return of Jurgen Klopp as first-team manager. The reaction was explosive. Fans flooded the streets. Pubs filled with celebration. Songs filled the night air. The city felt alive in a way it had not felt in months. Social media was overwhelmed with emotional messages, excitement, and pure disbelief. Klopp arrived at Liverpool John Lennon Airport to a crowd of thousands waiting, chanting his name. Many were crying tears of joy. Others waved flags, scarves, and banners. Klopp, moved by the reception, placed his hand on his chest and smiled humbly. "This club is home," he said quietly as he walked through the cheering crowd. He drove straight to the AXA training centre, where players had already gathered early, buzzing with excitement. When Klopp stepped inside, the room erupted. Even players who had joined after his departure looked thrilled. Such was his reputation and aura. Veteran players hugged him, young players stared at him with admiration, and even staff members shed tears of joy. Klopp held a team meeting that was both emotional and inspiring. He reminded the squad what Liverpool stood for: passion, work rate, unity, hunger, identity. "You are Liverpool," he told them firmly, "and Liverpool never stops fighting." Training sessions shifted immediately. Klopp reintroduced the high-intensity pressing system that had once made Liverpool impossible to play against. He restarted motivational routines, brought renewed energy, laughed loudly with players, and reminded each one of their importance. Analysts around the world noted that the atmosphere at Liverpool had changed instantly. The players looked sharper, hungrier, more alive. Even the city itself felt different, brighter, more hopeful. FSG held a press conference praising Klopp's return and acknowledging that Slot's exit, though difficult, was necessary. They promised Klopp full support, financially, emotionally, and strategically. For the first time in months, the club felt aligned again. As Klopp prepared for his first match back, the demand for tickets became unprecedented. Anfield sold out instantly. Fans travelled from different countries just to witness his second debut. Outside the stadium, thousands gathered hours before kickoff, chanting and singing beloved Klopp-era anthems. Inside the dressing room before the match, Klopp delivered a speech that players later described as unforgettable. He spoke about responsibility, passion, the privilege of wearing the shirt, and the hope he felt the moment he stepped back into the city. When he walked out of the tunnel and faced the Kop for the first time since returning, the roar was beyond anything heard at Anfield in years. Flags waved in every direction. Fans cried. The entire stadium sang, "You'll never walk alone," with a power that shook the ground. Jurgen Klopp stood there, emotional, humbled, and ready. Liverpool had fallen. Liverpool had lost its way. But with Klopp's return, the club felt reborn. This wasn't just a managerial decision. It was a restoration of identity, a revival of belief, a reminder of who Liverpool truly are. This was the beginning of Klopp's second great chapter, a chapter filled with hope, passion, and the promise that Liverpool would rise again.